Hi everyone, it's John Gardisi here again, and today we're going to be talking about how you can plan your academics as a high school student. So a little bit again about me. I graduated from Harvard in 2009. I'm a former interviewer for the Harvard College Office of Admissions, and I have over 10 years experience in college admissions counseling. So today we're going to focus on three key questions. First, what courses should students take in middle school and high school to boost their college admissions chances? What resources are available for students to take world-class courses and pursue outside interests? And finally, how can students navigate obstacles in their academic journey? So let's talk a bit about course selection. So over the course of a student's high school career, he or she should take a wide range of courses that are challenging. Special attention should be paid to classes that interest students. And whenever difficulties arise, find a tutor, switch courses, and if all else fails, retake that course outside of school. Keep in mind that 9th and 11th grade are major transition points. 9th grade is when students struggle with the transition to high school in terms of their academic and extracurricular workloads. And then 11th grade is the most challenging year for most students. So for gifted students, taking courses over breaks or outside of school can be helpful, especially in freeing up time for higher level coursework or activities. So let's talk a bit about middle school, because there may be some folks who have students in middle school in our call today. So keep in mind that middle school is a great time to build foundational knowledge in math, the language arts, humanities, and the sciences. This time in a student's career is great for identifying strengths and weaknesses as well as interests. And it's also an excellent time for students to develop and solidify strong study skills. So students should get in the habit of taking challenging courses, either accelerated or honors, and excelling in them. Now in high school, the expectation to take a wide range of courses continues. And junior year is the most important year academically when it comes to looking at a student's academic profile. The stakes are very high. Colleges review all grades, including those from freshman year. And the types of courses that typically stand out on student transcripts are advanced placement AP courses, honors courses, and IB, International Baccalaureate courses. And the final type of course is typically found in international and magnet schools. So here's a sample course schedule going from 7th to 12th grade. So you can see for each subject area, students are expected to take increasingly challenging courses. And as you go through your high school career, you see that a top student is taking more AP courses by senior year. So freshman year, perhaps there are no AP courses, but you might have quite a few honors courses. And then as you're going through, you start to see 1, and then 2, and then by senior year, maybe 4 or 5 courses. And this by no means is a set schedule. Every student is different. Some students need more help with certain subjects, and so they may not go down, let's say, an AP humanities path, or they may feel that the sciences, particularly physics and chemistry, are quite challenging, and so they don't go down this path. So this is a representative schedule. It's by no means what you have to do, but you can clearly see some trends here that may be useful for your student. Now, where can you find courses outside of school? So a little earlier, I talked about how students can sometimes make up courses outside of school. You can also use, course offerings from outside of your school to go ahead and find, enrichment classes to get ahead. And so community colleges and local universities are great. Many schools offer dual enrollment classes where you can get credit at your high school as well as through the college. So that's an option. edX and Coursera are great options for students looking for enrichment courses. And these courses are relatively affordable. Oftentimes you can get a certificate for less than $100 on either platform. And you have classes from schools like Harvard, Yale, Stanford, Penn, as well as many other prestigious institutions. The other providers that I highly recommend are BYU and FLVS. So BYU and the Florida Virtual School offer high school level courses to students where students can receive a grade on a transcript. So these are good offerings. And then finally, idtech.com. This is a great educational service provider for students interested in programming. So look at all of these options. These are definitely great resources. And certainly if you're working with a college admissions counselor, you can easily find, the best options for you, wherever you are in your academic career. So here are some sample online classes. So for instance, Harvard edX, you can find CS50, Introduction to CS, which is actually the Intro to Computer Science course at Harvard. You've also got, courses like Anatomy, Musculoskeletal Cases through Harvard edX, a great course for pre-med students. And then finally, a great business class is Successful Negotiation, Essential Strategies and Skills. And this is offered through the University of Michigan's Coursera page. So these are examples of classes students can take depending on their interests. There are many, many more classes that you can find on these platforms. So if you have a free moment, look through and see what courses on these sites might be of interest to you. Now, how can you navigate potential challenges? So rarely is it the case that I work with students that have not had any challenges in their academic career. Now, if you are experiencing some challenges, there are some things you can do. First, you can ask for help. Asking for help is a great strategy, particularly from a teacher or a tutor or a family member. If your school allows you to withdraw or drop a course, consider your options, okay? If you need to repeat a course, online classes are a great resource. And we talked a bit about, some of the different providers. So really pick the provider that best suits your need. Try to avoid difficult courses in areas where you think you'll struggle, okay? So if you feel like you're gonna struggle in a particular area, you don't have to take a challenging course in that space. And finally, create a plan that works well for you, and create this plan with a counselor. So what I typically do with my students is 9th, 10th, 11th, and 12th grade, I map out courses for students to help them understand what their academic careers are going to be like in high school. So these are some potential ways to navigate challenges. Now, in terms of academics in your college major, what you likely study in high school will not necessarily predict what your major will be. So it's important to have a wide range of classes and interests. And for STEM applicants, showing a strong performance in math and science courses is almost a must. And regardless of what path you go down, try to build strong relationships with teachers in the subject areas related to your major. Okay, so the reason you want to do that is for summer programs and later for college applications, having strong relationships with teachers helps you in the application process. Now, here are some practical tips for staying motivated. From time to time, I see my students struggle with motivation. And some of the things you can do are break down tasks into manageable chunks, work on a few things every day, set some realistic goals. Don't feel like you have to do everything in a very limited time frame. It also helps to get into a study routine. So study routines are very, very helpful. If you can follow a schedule, that can help. And we'll look, briefly at a sample schedule, and then acknowledge your accomplishments. Particularly as we're coming out of the pandemic, we've had a very, very challenging year and change behind us. So acknowledge your accomplishments as they come into your life. Now, how can you schedule your day? So I highly recommend creating a weekly schedule that charts your daily commitments. Be realistic, consider the time you need for different tasks. So these can include homework and study time, activities, rest, as well as any other commitment that requires more than 30 minutes. So here's a sample daily schedule. You've got Monday to Saturday, and then you've got these different, subject areas. You can even take out the subject areas and simply have just, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, etc. A lot of students like Google Calendar. You can also buy planners at, an office supply store. So consider whatever is the best way for you to keep track of your time as your go-to for tracking your time. And then be sure that you really list out all of the different classes from your schedule in your planner. So, I wanted to take a moment and see if we had any questions. Anything come through? Yeah, exactly. You can actually take courses, real courses from these top schools, and they're courses that you don't get college credit, but you can receive like a certificate of completion. And so they're great options for a lot of students who are looking to explore their interests in different fields. Yeah, so if the institution offers you a transcript, then you can potentially use the grades for credit. At the very least, you've got another transcript you can add to your application. And if you even if you're receiving credit from let's say a lesser known institution, for some of those big schools like the Ivies, Stanford, and MIT, it does look great if students are taking college level courses in high school. Yeah, so for computer science, I highly recommend, ID Tech, the USA Computing Olympiad. I recommend research internships and experiences over the summer. So these are some different ways that kids who are involved in coding or computer science can showcase their skills. Also, hackathons and coding clubs are also great ways of getting involved in coding at, let's say, a more competitive or prestigious level. Yeah, you can look them up on your school website. And if your school doesn't have a coding club or a coding team, you can always start one. And universities like applicants who are entrepreneurial, who are driven, and are able to be self-starters. Okay. Well, I appreciate, everyone's time today. I hope everyone has a wonderful week. We'll be back same day and time next week. Thank you for your time, and I'm really looking forward to our next session.